What is up, everybody? Welcome to some Mimeoplasm action. Hope you're excited. Hope you're ready to get the 1960s horror monster up and running. That's what I meant to say when I got that all mixed up right there. Let's get the command zone all set up. There we go. We got some Lich Lord right there. I like that. Let's get our command zone all closed out. As far as our opening hand goes, we've got Bazaar, Baghdad, Nature of the Fit. Yeah, if we had a green source, I would maybe be tempted to keep it. Let's go ahead and mulligan on this one. Yeah, that's pretty good. Got a little Mystical Tutor action, little Simic Growth Chamber, some Scry action. Yeah, we'll go ahead and keep on this one. Invisible Stalker. We'll go ahead and put that on the bottom right now. I'd like to maybe get into some a little bit of ramp action or something like that. Look at this put up right there. Let's go for some Temple of Malady action. Get that little Scry action. There we go. Command zone's all set up and nice. Hermit Druid. That's a good way to get the graveyard up and running. On top, buddy. That's the Big Lebowski Hermit Druid right there. I always think of the Big Lebowski when I see him. Okay, so we're playing Mimeoplasm. As he enters the battlefield, we're going to exile 2 creature cards from graveyards, which includes ours and our opponent's graveyard. We're going to choose one of those creatures for Mimeoplasm to become a copy of, and the other creature we're going to get that many +1 counters on it on Mimeoplasm. So it's kind of like Mr. Potato Head, build your own commander. Let's get down Island, and let's go for a nice little Hermit Druid over here. And then I'll cover what our opponent's commander does in just a second. But yeah, if you've ever seen The Big Lebowski, if you haven't, I would suggest you go see The Big Lebowski. Awesome movie, by the way. Really good. The best way to think about The Big Lebowski is it's just like you experience it. I know that sounds silly, but I mean, if you're going into The Big Lebowski thinking it's going to be the funniest movie since like sliced bread, it's not. It's just... I don't know how to describe it. It's just a really fun movie to watch. I've always enjoyed The Big Lebowski, but I always think of Hermit Druid. He reminds me of The Big Lebowski. So let's put the land drop for the turn. Let's go ahead. What do we do? We could actually go for a Mesmeric Orb. Let's go Mesmeric Orb. If we fire this Demonic Tutor off, there we go. Mesmeric Orb. That's a good way to get the graveyard up and running. Now, it's going to help him with his commander, but I think we'll be okay with that. So let's grab a Mesmeric Orb. Let's go ahead and... Let's go Simic Growth Chamber, bounce the island back to our hand. We could go Temple and get a little Scry action. No, I like that. I want to make our land drops for the rest of the turn, because we can go Darkslick Shores, it's going to come into play untapped, and that'll put us online to get down Mimeoplasm the following turn, and we can cast Mesmeric Orb. So we're playing against the Lich Lord. If damage would be dealt to Lich Lord, sacrifice that many permanents instead, and then tap, target instant or sorcery in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. Pretty straightforward. Let's go ahead and go Mesmeric Orb off the... off right there, and then let's go for some Darkslick Shores. That way we can fire this Mystical Tutor off. We do have to watch out for those Mesmeric Orb triggers whenever it becomes untapped. So if we put something on top with Mystical Tutor, I made that mistake one time. I was like, all right, we got it real nice and set up. So we're going to have one trigger. We'll actually have 2 cards to put on top. So it kind of puts us in a weird spot where we need to get those... well, really, it's whenever a permanent becomes untapped. So, well, we can still Mystical Tutor for life from the loam, but it hit the graveyard, and then we can get some dredge action going. Yeah, we'll be in a good spot after that, because that's where we want it in the graveyard anyway. Okay, so let's go Mystical Tutor. Yeah, we want life from the loam in the graveyard anyway, so let's go. There we go, life from the loam. And let's go and tap this Temple of Malady so we can get that extra Scry action. This is going to be a race to see who can build the best... the best little graveyard, because he's got Graveyard Matters over there, and our opponent does too. We're going to yield right there. Okay. Ooh, Lord of the Void. Let's get some dredge action on that one. Ooh, beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so let's go ahead and go. Let's go Island. We have just enough to get down. We don't have haste, though, for our commander. But I think I like what we got going on. Let's go. It's a nice little spread. Yeah, let's go and go for it. Let's go Mimeoplasm. So we're looking at double green, black. That's the required colors right there. And then looking at 1 and 2. So Mimeoplasm is going to come. There's no creatures in our opponent's graveyard, but we're going to make a copy of Lord of the Void, I think. Yeah, it has flying. I think I like that flying aspect. So we're going to make Lord of the Void be a copy, and then we're going to get counters equal to Lord of Sin. So I mean, 19. Yeah, I'll take that. We need to get that commander damage up and running. We need to make it a point that our opponent has something to deal with Lord of the Void, especially with the Doomblade out there. Now, they did rip Runa's Path, but they don't have their commander out there, and it does not have haste. So at least we're going to be able to get him for 19, and then we kind of get that up and running. And then we have like last finality to see if our opponent has any creatures. We can put those in the graveyard. Be in a good spot. But yeah, that Doomblade, we're going to be able to get around Doomblade because Lord of the Void is a black creature. I will take that. But yeah, I love playing Mimeoplasm. Unfortunately, oh, there we go. Hero's Downfall. That was our downfall. We still have some more mill action, though. But yeah, I love playing Mimeoplasm. Sometimes it's really quick like that if you go commander damage. But we've got some nice reanimator targets going on though. Let's go ahead and go. Life in the Loam. Let's refuel our hand. We got that nice little underground river over there. So we'll tap the Simic Growth Chamber. That gets returned back to our hand. Let's go ahead and go. Let's get down Survival of the Fittest. So we're looking at green. And then we just go and put this Watery Grave into play tapped. Not going to pay 2, and then we'll go and pass the turn. And then I'll probably still go ahead and tap this Dark Slick Shores, at least at the end of our opponent's turn. But yeah, Mimeoplasm, it's a really fun commander. I always enjoy it. I love Reanimator, I love Soul Tie, so this is almost like the perfect commander for me. But it's one of those that, like, it's just kind of busted sometimes. Like, it just, you know, commander damage is so easy to get with Mimeoplasm, especially when you're exiling stuff like Memory Plunder. Exile target insert sorcery card from an opponent's graveyard without paying its mana cost. Okay. But actually, I need to add that in my Yidrish deck. I think that would be pretty good to cascade into. Sounds like a pretty fun little deck. Alright, so opponent's firing off a Demonic Tutor. Now, what we need out of the graveyard is we need something that will... we do have the... What creature is it? It's the... I can see it. It's something of darkness, but it's a... It's from Mirage, and it has... What is it? It has Flying, Trample, Haste, or something like that. And so that's always a really good reanimator target. Let's go and tap this Dark Slick Shores. We could go for a Mind Leech Mass. Deals combat damage to a player. You may look at that player's hand and cast it without... Well, I'm not sure how much they have in their hand, but we can have some fun with it. We need to get into spots where we can give Mimeoplasm haste and almost do enough commander damage, or if we get into like Lightning Greaves or something like that. But we've got a nice little spread. If we make a copy of Avenger of Zendikar and make the land drop for the turn, so we got some nice little mill action over there. Invisible Stalker. Oh, there we go. Invisible Stalker Hexproof. Okay. We'll go and dredge Life from the Loam. Alright, just hit a bunch of lands. Mimeoplasm is going to cost 7, so we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we have to make the land drop, so we can't take advantage of going for an Avenger of Zendikar. Which is really what I want to do. I want to get some Avenger of Zendikars, then we can get into spots where we can close it out with Invisible Stalker. It's still milling a bunch of stuff. So let's go and fire this Life from the Loam off. This is one of those I like to have fun playing this game. Playing Mimeoplasm, and if we go Invisible Stalker, then it kind of puts it, you know, he may have some type of sacrifice thing, but I like having fun this way. So let's grab this Opulent Palace, the Harbor, and let's grab this Forest. So looking at double green right there, or just single green. Return those back to our hands. Then let's put the Opulent Palace down. Okay. Now, that's going to give us enough, because usually with the Avenger of Zendikar, what you want to do is you want to have a lot of lands, and you want to have something to show for it. So, you know, if we just make a copy of Avenger of Zendikar and we don't have a landfall, you really want to pump up those plant tokens. So, I think we're going to go for Avenger of Zendikar, then make the, because we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We'll have just enough mana to go for that, and then we'll kind of be in a good spot. Now, our opponent does have Hasty. Let's see how much. Flashbacks cost up to 2 less. Costs our opponents 2 more. So he's got some really cheap stuff over there. 2 mana, almost everything online is turned in, and they have Counterspell over there. Okay, so we're kind of in a weird spot. So what we may end up doing is going for a Life's Finale. See if he wants to counter that using that Counterspell over there, and then we can try and jam a Mimeoplasm next turn. We may need to go for a yeah, probably Life's Finale first. Oh, I meant to add some stuff in the graveyard for that. Sorry about that. Okay, do we want it to dredge right now? Actually, no. Maybe if we draw a creature, we can get the Survival of the Fittest up and running. Okay, so let's go for Life's Finale. Choose our opponents. We're looking at the black, and then 1, 2, and then 3. Actually, let's go this way. Let's go 3 and 4. Show our creatures, so we're going to take care of the Lich Lord over there, and then hopefully we'll see what he's got. Maybe we can get a nice little spread, some, I don't know, something out of there. Alright, so he's going to use the counter. Mainly we're doing this to get that counterspell used on Life's Finale, which I'm okay with. Okay. So, let's make the land drop for the turn. Let's go Harbor. And then we have the Tranquil Thicket that we can cycle, and then which will allow us to dredge if we want to, and then we can go for Mimeoplasm next turn. Now, we don't really have that many good counters out of our graveyard, unfortunately. And we also need to do is we need to double check that Always yield to that Mesric Orb. We need to check that we can go Invisible Stalker. Let's see, there's no sacrifice spells. So we've got Diabolic Tutor. We've got Dismiss, counter target spell, draw a card. Yeah, we're kind of getting into spots where our opponent's got a. Well, what we can do, if we can get some like heavy mill action up and running. Actually, yeah, we're gonna tap those lands. We're gonna go for haste. I think that's what I want to go for. But we do have to play around the dismiss now. Yeah, this counter target spell, draw a card. The end of the counter spells, mystical teachings, 2/. There's Here's Downfall, Ruinous Path, Insidious Will. Yeah, we have to watch out Insidious Will. Yeah, so we're looking at 2 counter spells coming out of the graveyard, and they're reduced by the Catalyst Stone. So it's going to be a little hard for us to get down some Mimeoplasm action. We'll probably still go ahead and cycle this Tranquil Thicket. I'm not sure what's going to get us out of this one, but we're going to keep dredging. Keep going. Keep doing our thing. Okay. Let's go ahead and fire. Let's go and cycle this Tranquil Thicket right now. Tap for green. I don't think we're going to dredge right now. Let's just see what we draw. Maybe get some tutor pieces or something. There's 2 counter spells over there we got to play around. So, Sunken Ruins. Yeah, that's not the best right there. And we'll go and tap this Harbor. Okay. So we got these coming in. We're gonna have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 8 mana we can mess around with. We got the land drop for the turn. We gotta watch out for those counter spells. Okay, see if our opponent will pass the turn. Not sure what our opponent's doing, but yeah. So we're gonna have all those Mesric Orb triggers come into play. Not come into play. Get put on the stack. There we go. There we go. All right, you always yield right there. Oh, it's so beautiful seeing that happen. Massacre Worm. Yeah, that does not get it done. We get the draw. I don't think we want to dredge right now. Uncle Gary Grave Troll. Uncle Gary. Let's go ahead and... I'm pretty sure... I think we've got Fleshbag in here. Let's discard a creature card. We'll discard Uncle Gary. R.I.P. Uncle Gary in Modern. It was nice while it's not nice while it lasted. I didn't play Dredge, but always hate to see a card get banned in Modern. Well, don't hate it, but I more hate it from a player standpoint. I'm always bummed that there's somebody out there that's going to take a hit from a card banning, and that's always a bummer. So our opponent does have Insidious Will. Actually, okay, there we go. Magus of the Bizarre. Alright, so we can't get around counterspells, but Simic Sky Swallower, give it Trample. I could remember if we had the Fleshbag Marauder in here. Maybe we do, maybe it's in the graveyard. That's kind of why I fired that off real quick. But we can go for Spirit, put it in our hand, cycle it, get a few other things into the graveyard. Kind of turn that into a Spell Guide if we want to. Yeah, let's go Spirit in our hand. Let's go and discard. Let's wait to do it on our opponent's turn, actually. So let's make the land drop for the turn. We got green. And we have enough to flashback the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have enough to flashback the Forbidden Alchemy. Look at the top 4 cards of your library, put one in your hand, rest in your graveyard. But what we can do on our opponent's turn is start cycling stuff into the graveyard. Give it Trample, give it Haste. If our opponent taps out, we're looking to get into a spot where we can finally get around that counter spell over there. Oh, he's got his very own Forbidden Alchemy. Yeah, it's a nice little graveyard showdown. Yeah, I'll have to pop this up. I'll have to post this video up. I always like cool sub games versus sub games. It's always fun to me. Okay, so we're gonna yield right there. Okay. Let's get our opponent's graveyard. There we go. It's going to get it right there. That way, we've got 2 graveyard decks, so we can kind of see what's going on. And I'll keep it a little bit separated so you can see the mana that's getting tapped. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, so we're at 57 cards in our library. Ooh, summonings. That is nasty right there. Okay. Now, our opponent can add blue mana. You can counter. Yeah, let's go ahead and let's chunk Spirit of the Night. Let's activate Survival of the Fittest. Chunk Spirit of the Night. Let's go for... Let's just get our stuff in the graveyard. So we're looking Giant right there. let's end up with Spellskite so we can try and cast a Spellskite, I think. So let's end up with a giant bug face. Activate Survival of the Fittest again. And we're just going to keep chaining these until hopefully our opponent will tap out. We can end up with a Spellskite, and then we can try and jam a Mimeoplasm. Alright, so we're looking at green right there. Discard a creature card. Giant bug face. Let's go ahead and chunk Woodfall Primus. And we have 2 more green sources to go through. We're going to pay green, discard Woodfall Primus. And let's go ahead and chunk the Simic Sky Swallower. And then let's go ahead and chunk that one, and then we're going to grab that Spellskite. So hopefully our opponent will counter the Spellskite. That's kind of our only little out on this one. Alright, so we got Spellskite in the hand. There we go. And do we want to mill? No, I think we'll be okay. We're getting into spots where we might outmill each other. Splendid Reclam. Ooh, Rise of the Dark Realms. Bummer. Okay. Let's not dredge. Nature's Claim. That's actually pretty good. That shuts him off any counterspells that he has. If we can go for a quick... yeah, I like that. So let's go ahead and go Nature's Claim on the Catalyst Stones. We're looking at green. Doing this during our draw steps so we can go to our main phase and not have it. Yeah, that was a beautiful draw right there. Okay. So coming out of the graveyard. Okay, so now we're looking at 3 any counter spells that we need to play around. Dismiss everything. Yeah, so we basically have a free counter to go through. Let's go ahead and get the Sunken Ruins down. So we're looking at, how much is Mimeoplasm? We're looking at Mimeoplasm of costing 7. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Just enough for Spellskite. So let's get down Spellskite and looking white, blue. Now our opponent might have a counterspell in hand. If they do, so be it. But we're going to go for Spellskite. And then we can go for... what creature package do we want to go with? Let's cast Mimeoplasm for sure. We can go Simic Sky Swallower. It's going to have Shroud and Flying. I think I like that route. So let's go Mimeoplasms. We're looking at black, blue, green. I'm looking at 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Maybe I missed a counterspell in there, but I'm pretty sure... oh, you got a counterspell in the hand. All right, man. You got it, buddy. All right, so we've got that taken care of. Now our opponent's going to have to leave up a bunch of mana. They're going to have to untap. We're going to have to untap a bunch of stuff. We got Spellskite out there now. We're looking at... okay, yeah, we're getting into some nice little sub-game right here. Always yield the Mesric Orb. Okay. Let's get our graveyard back out. Let's get Mimeoplasm down here. So we have enough mana to recast Mimeoplasm. And we got the Metallurgic Summonings coming in. We have a lot of stuff to discard, though. Okay. Not going to dredge right now. Wood Sage. Okay, so now our opponent has full mana up right now, while they're not tapping anything out. So we're at 37, 41. Yeah, I guess we'll just kind of hold off, wait for our opponent to kind of do something. You know, we're just running straight into a counterspell right now. That's all we're doing. And we do have Wood Sage, so we can kind of cycle through some stuff with Survival of the Fittest. We can discard. I think we still have... We can go for a Grave Titan on our opponent's turn. Kind of let them know what's up. Ooh, Cyclonic Rift. Okay, yeah, so we're going to have to fire this Survival of the Fittest off. Chunk that Wood Sage. And we'll go ahead and grab a... Let's grab a Grave Titan. That way he's forced to counter it. It's in our hand, that we don't have to worry about it. Do we want to sing... Actually, let's grab a Phyrexian Dreadnought, since there's nothing else we want to do. Discard a card. And then we'll search up the... That way we have the extra counters right there. Let's grab that Grave Titan. I don't think there's anything else we want to do. So we have Grave Titans in our hand, and then we still have Living Death in the graveyard too. So we're going to get that colorless, that summonings over there, return each creature. There's nothing else we want to do. We have Grave Titan in the hand, so we can cast that next turn. Everything gets bounced back to our hand, and our opponent's going to get away from the Mesric Orb triggers. But one of our outs is the Living Death, so hopefully we can get into spots where we can kind of jam enough stuff to where our opponent doesn't have any counter spells. Okay, so everything goes back to hand. We're in our in step. Let's ship this one over here. Okay, crack the Evolving Wilds. Yeah, it's been a fun little match, man. It's always fun when we get some graveyard on graveyard. That's kind of like, it's like a aggro versus aggro. It's just kind of like the gloves are off. Like, aggro versus control. It's always fun because you're trying to beat them before they can get stabilized. Mid-range versus mid-range is always fun because it's pretty level. So having a graveyard versus a graveyard deck, I always enjoy a good graveyard match, man. It's one of those magic fun times in Commander. Now, as far as winning conditions, Rise of the Dark Realms is in the graveyard. That's a bummer, man. We also have Living Death. So if we can rip at Living Death, we can swap the graveyards out. We're going to have to fight through a bunch of counterspells. That is a bummer. But what we can do is just kind of slowly test stuff out. We can get down Survival of the Fittest. We can go for a Spellskite. We can go for Mezocor. I don't think we're going to go for Mezocor because I really want to draw that Living Death. That's something that I would really enjoy drawing, especially if we can get around a counterspell. Alright, not going to dredge. Catacombs. Okay, so let's get the Catacombs down. Let's go ahead and go for Survival of the Fittest. See if that draws out Counterspell. Let's go for Spellskite. And then, I want to get into a spot to where we're trying to jam a Grave Titan and our opponent taps out. We do have to watch out for stuff like Dissipate and Capsize, Return Target Permanent. Yeah, I guess we'll hold off right now. Yeah, just because if we're gonna try and jam Mimeoplasm, we're just gonna straight up run into a counterspell and just run Mimeoplasm's cost back up. So yeah, that's unfortunate. But I'm looking to get into spots where we've got Grave Titan. We're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have just enough to try and jam a Grave Titan and then try and jam a Living Death. Basically, our odds of winning this game is very slim, but we're trying to play to our outs right now. And our outs right now is maybe our opponent taps out for something during his turn, and then we try and jam a Grave Titan and they counter it, and then we have a free Living Death to get off, and we don't have to worry about a counterspell. That's kind of what our game plan is right now. So it's looking a little rough. Target instant, Memory's Plunder. Okay. And we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now our opponent can, if they get enough mana, targeting Life from the Loam. Oh man, I was kind of wanting our opponent to fire off that Rise of the Dark Realms. Get enough mana for that Rise of the Dark Realms. Okay, so we got Plunder getting fired off. And then let's see. Yeah, Life from the Loam, return 3 lands up to the graveyard. Yeah, this is just one of those when you have a protected Lich Lord. It's just a little hard to get around that. Okay. Got all those summonings. What happens whenever if you control 6 or more artifacts? So our opponent actually has the return from your graveyard to your hand. I don't think they want to do that. They want to get the Lich Lord up and running. But it's in some nice little metallurgic summonings. That's pretty cool, man. You can kind of hear them clanking around. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and block on the, let's go block on the 3/3 right there. So that's going to be 8 coming across, drop us down to 27. Yeah, we're just trying to live the Living Death dream right now. That's what we're going for. Not going to dredge. Cavern of Souls. Okay. That's actually, we can get around a counterspell off that one. Okay. So we got a little bit of a, let's see what lands. That's an excellent draw right there. Returns Command Tower, retaining. I'll make sure there wasn't any land destruction over there. So we need to get down Cavern of Souls, naming Ooze. So we're going to go, can't be blocked. Yeah, let's go Cavern of Souls, naming Ooze. Mimeoplasm is an Ooze. And then, so we have Invisible Stalker in the graveyard. And then how many counters do we have? The biggest counter that we have, we can check that out in a second. But yeah, let's go ahead and go for a, we'll go for some Mimeoplasm action. Can't be countered. We do have to watch out for a kill spell, though. Yeah, but we're going to go and go for some Hexproof. So we're going to cast Mimeoplasm. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Actually, we need to make sure we tap for that Cavern of Souls. That would be so brutal right there if we missed that. Okay, tapping for blue. I just realized that. Oh, man. Whew. I'd hate to go that whole game and know that I just goofed up on that one. I mean, it wouldn't be the game, but that would be very frustrating. Tap that Harbor right there. Okay, so Mimeoplasm cannot be countered. Whew. Okay, so we got Mimeoplasm coming in. So we're going to go Invisible Stalker. Can't be blocked. to be a copy of. Choose to copy. And then the biggest counters that we can get out of this one, Phyrexian Dreadnought. So we got 13-13, so we got 2 combat steps to swing in. 33, Survival of the Fittest. We still got a Grave Titan to kind of jam some stuff in there. Okay. So that gives us a little bit of an out right there, and we have enough mana to recast Cavern of Souls and go for a Simic Sky Swallower if our opponent has some type of board wipe they want to get up and running. So let's get their graveyard out. Anything that they want to target: Doomblade, Behold, discard your hand, search, Cyclonic Rift. Yeah, they could actually fire Cyclonic Rift off. That would be a bummer right there. At least Mimeoplasm will go to our hand. Yep, that's exactly what he's going for. Okay, so Cyclonic Rift gets fired up, but the main thing is that we still have Cavern of Souls out here. So the backup hexproof creature we can go for is Simic Sky Swallower, and then maybe like some Spirit of the Night. Yeah, we definitely want to go for hexproof. So we're going to go for that's going to get bounced back to our hand. Spirit of the Survival of the Fittest gets bounced back to our hand. Mystical Teachings, okay. I thought they targeted Cyclonic Rift. Huh. Reveal. Okay, so our opponent's going to have to reveal that card. That's the Exile Zone. Let's see what we got in the Reveal Zone. Dig Through Time, okay. Now, if we get into some weird world where our opponent taps out, then we can actually go for the Spirit of the Night. That's what I was looking for. I knew it had Night somewhere in there, but it has Flying, Trample, Haste, Protection from Black. So we can get around the removal spells over there, swing in, but I don't think we have enough to give it commander damage because we have yet to deal commander damage. But we do have to watch out for the little summoning construct tokens over there. Yeah, and then our opponent can go for Cyclonic Rift the following turn, bounce it back before we get to swing in. All right, yeah, I think our opponent's got this one, but this has been a nice little match right here. I've definitely enjoyed it. And if it gets bounced back, then we can still cast Mimeoplasm the following turn and go for some, like, save this Underground River Fray land drop off the Avenger of Zendikar. If he goes for the... Yeah, I like that. So we can go Avenger of Zendikar, get a bunch of plant tokens, and we can hold this Catacombs up. Yeah, I like that. We can hold the Catacombs up, crack it. I don't know if we have enough lands in the graveyard, in our library, but we'll try and make it work. Whew, man, I've been recording Magic all day today. This is probably like my 3rd or 4th hour of recording Magic, so I'm getting a little Magic crazy. So if I played a little funny this game, that is 100% why. So, but while we're taking a little break, side note, guys, if you'd like to build your very own 1960s horror monster deck, head over to MTGOTraders.com. That's where we hand select all of our people. Invisible Stalker. Okay, they did not swing in. Okay. I'm getting a little Magic crazy right now. This is probably my last video for the day. Not going to dredge right now. Marsh Flats. Okay. Let's go ahead and swing in first with Invisible Stalker. Coming in hot. That's going to be 13 commander damage. Okay. We get the Mesmic Orb. Let's go ahead and go. Let's see if we can't stick a Grave Titan. Our opponent may have some type of counter spell. But then I'll put him in a spot where maybe he doesn't want to counter it. Our opponent doesn't want to counter it. Looking at 1, 2, and then 3, and then 4. Grave Titan, more than likely it'll get targeted. Oh, actually not. Okay, so we'll get those 2/2 zombies. And then, actually, excuse me 1 second. Okay, there we go. We'll get the Underground River down right there. Sorry, I had a cough right there. And then, yeah, we'll go and pass the turn. Okay. Interesting match. Yeah, I'm a little Magic tired right now, to be 100% honest. Let's see what our opponent targets. So Dig Through Time gets targeted again. Now, we've got 13 total commander damage that we've dealt, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, 13 total commander damage. So we get a Dig Through Time getting fired off. It almost gets us into a spot to where our opponent... Well, they're getting a lot of the summoning tokens out. These construct tokens. I love this, man. This is pretty sweet right here. That's a pretty cool token right there. I like it, man. You can hear it kind of clinking around on the ground. Okay, so one of the ways that our opponent can stop the commander damage next turn is, because if they don't, they have to. They have to go for our Cyclonic Rift. One of the ways we can... Reality Shift. Return target creature to its hand. Okay. And that is targeting us. We'll get to exile. Okay. Get that human, that that big delver over there. Okay, spell slot gets taken right there. Okay, and then spell slot entered the exile zone. What is this? This is a buried alive. That's okay. I'll take that. Whew. Okay, so we've got 3/2 in the air. We've got 6 target card and a right of replication. Okay, and I'm sure. Well, if our opponent taps out for that. Right of replication getting kicked. Oh, if we go right of replication on final iteration? Okay. Get the little token. There. Oh, that's beautiful. So all the little human wizards are 13/13s. Okay, so in the air we've got 26. Oh, and he put one on there. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. What a way to close it out right there. I will take that. Nice, man. Awesome game right there. Yeah, I'll take that. Yeah, we've got 20. We've got more than enough combat damage in the air to close it out. Oh, beautiful game, man. Beautiful game. I'll take that. This is what Commander's about right here, man. This is pretty cool. Yeah, I'll take a right of replication on the final iteration right there. That was pretty sweet. Yeah, good game, man. Yeah, that was definitely that was a long one, and yeah. All right, guys, if you enjoyed it, like and subscribe. Thanks, guys.